welcome to mixing in the context of music. Yes, thank you, I know about that. Thank you, Focusrite Driver. Good, you reset. So this is a piece that I composed a little while back, and thought I'd use this as an illustration for a couple different choices of adding interest to a mix. And before I get into that, I'm going to play a little bit of it. Okay, so that's the introduction, and it ends with a similar sort of feel with the trumpet. And what I mean by interest is songs usually, and now this is not a song that repeats like some song structures do. I actually took some steps by taking this kind of a cue from classical music. Is it has a beginning, and then the middle is completely different, or almost completely different. It kind of takes you on a journey, and then it comes back. In my case, it comes back a little bit different. The only thing that's the same would be the this instrument sound down here. This sound here would be the similar thing. And then of course the trumpet. Different melody, but same pattern down here. Okay, so distorting, and I believe, yes, the reason it's distorting is because let's go to it really quick. Compressor's not activated. So for some reason, when I updated my operating system, I lost the activation for my Scarlett plugin suite, which is very bothersome. So I'm attempting to use the Reaper compressor, but it doesn't seem to be working too well. So anyway, but I feel like everything's a little bit too loud, so for sake of illustration, I'm going to come over here and use this very handy feature, which is save a new version of the project. Okay, so now we have Reaper_1. Now I can go and make all sorts of changes and not affect the original. So once I reactivate those plugins, I can use them. So what I'm doing now is clearing some of the mixing work I did with volume automation. Probably get into that at a later time. So I'm clearing these envelopes. That way everything will sit right where it is at the beginning. Okay, that one doesn't have any. With this, yes. Clear envelope. This one definitely has a lot. Clear. Oh, scroll down. Right click, clear envelope. And I'm hitting the V key to reveal the volume envelopes for each track. So now, okay, and hitting V again to hide it. V show, V hide. You get the idea. Okay, so it was really, this track is completed. In fact, I did a video on behind the scenes of creating it, and it is available for sale at a couple different outlets. But for some reason, I wasn't quite satisfied with this middle section. So I'm going to play it as it was originally. Let's see, what I need to mute a couple things. Okay. There we go. this is, like I said, the change in the middle. Now, let's see with what I try to do to make it more interesting, see if it actually works. Besides being a little bit out of time, I think this section is just a little bit too crowded. There's too much happening in here. Because if we mute those tracks once again, you can hear in the piano part there's a bit of a melody forming. Skip ahead a bit here. And then we're throwing another melody up on top of it. And then we add another harmony. Makes for a very crowded situation. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and remove them just like that. Okay, because right there they don't help. Now where the flute part begins to shine is right in here. So I'm going to play that section. Let me to remove the distractions a bit, I'm going to mute some elements. Actually, let me just solo them, that's even better. Solo, okay. So I don't know if you can hear the flute there. Let me actually back the strings off a little bit. Okay, here we go. Let's back them off even more. Okay, let's pull them way down so you can hear the flute. Actually, let's play the flute by itself. Bring the strings back. After that, it kind of starts to follow the strings with the melody part. But that beginning part is what really, in fact, when I had the whole mix up and I was just listening to it, I could hear it. And let's bring it back here, right there. The organ is kind of getting in the way. So let's mute the organ. Okay. Now at this point we could do two things. We could bring the strings down even more. Try to give the flute a solo part. That's what happens when you mix flute and solo together. You get a float. So, oh man. Okay, so. What I did want to try though is maybe adding another instrument, because when it starts to go off into the melody thing here, so if I think of this as an orchestral composition, we probably wouldn't have it continue up until there. So I'm going to trim it back. Once again, we saved this is a copy and we have an original. So actually, what I could do, instead of actually getting rid of all of that, yeah, let me get rid of it. I was thinking I could just empty it. So that when I come to trim it, actually I'm just going to split it and get rid of that. Okay. Now. Okay, so I want to try another instrument really quick here. Oh yes, I need to scroll down and right click. Now I've selected the flute track, so the new track will be inserted right below it. Insert virtual instrument on new track. I can't talk for some reason. No, because that'll open several extra tracks that I don't really need right now. They might be helpful, but for now. So just as a test, I'm going to pull up horn 1. Okay. Now, take this MIDI item and make sure the track is selected, or it'll paste right on top of it, and paste. So I did a copy and paste, Control V, Control C, Control V, Control C to copy, Control V to paste. That should be Command on a Mac. Now I'm going to mute this and let's see what happens. You see these little mountains here. These are articulations that were created with the mod wheel, and on the flute they make it they do something to make it a little bit louder. On the brass instrument here, they're controlling the dynamics, so it's really soft to start out with. So that's why we're not hearing it. Let's solo it. That's lower than I'd want it to begin with. So let's open up here and raise it. Okay. We need to be higher, don't we? Okay, so I'm going to raise this up. This will probably be the last thing I do in this part, so I don't want to make this video too long. Oh, where were we? I need to know that. Okay, we're on a G, so... Okay, that's a nice start. I may need to actually play this in, but that's kind of what we're going through. I have a feeling that... what we're going for, rather. I have a feeling that the flute may be the sound I actually want in there, depending on what tones I can get from the brass instrument. But that is a look at beginning to add some interest to the piece without overcrowding it and stacking too much on top of each other. Alright, so we'll continue in the next one. Thanks for watching.